Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Adam Caplan from the Inside the Birds podcast is here. Football at 4. We got some interesting developments from the rule changes at the owners' meeting last week in West Palm. Adam was there, and we talked a little bit about some of the stuff, but how these could affect this season moving forward and a potential change to the playoff seeding. We'll get to that one coming up. I know that one has created a lot of buzz in the last 48 hours or so. But Adam Caplan's back with today's Football at 4, and we're going to have a little bit different look to the football season, it looks like, this year. Adam, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, good to talk to you, Mike. Yeah, and one thing for folks to I'm going to enlighten them a little bit here with the commissioner. Whenever Roger Goodell is passionate about something, let me tell you something, it's almost certain to happen. When he wanted a 17-game season, he got it, right? Because the owners wanted it. He basically parrots what the owners want, okay? Let's call it like it is. And he stayed out of the push play, and then he became vocal at the owners' meetings last week in Palm Beach. Now, that's going to pass, whether it's in May or next March, it'll pass. That the the push will be outlawed, okay? That's going to happen. The playoff seeding, Mike, that surprised me. Clearly, the Lions are talking. We know the Lions are passionate about it. Well, listen, Jeff and I talked about this on our Money Show. We started this discussion, Mike, and we'll continue it here with you and develop a little bit more. I totally understand how clubs that are like 14-3, like a team like 7-10, should not be winning a division and having a home game over a team that's 14-3. That shouldn't happen. But you know what, Mike? That rarely happens. Do you remember when Seattle did? Seattle had a losing record, but I think they might have beaten New Orleans in the so-called Marshawn Quake when he had that great game in the playoffs. They had a losing record. They hosted a home game. Well, again, it rarely happens, Mike. You're not going to be able to win every argument, okay? It's like with Bill Belichick, who's now coaching at University of North Carolina as head coach. He wanted to be able to challenge any missed call. Well, that's not going to happen. You can't slow the game up like that. But I get it. It's a replay. We're going to talk about that. We had a big development in that, going forward, which we'll talk about. But, Mike, the playoff seeding, I totally get it. But, listen, it rarely happens. And I think you're just going to have to live with some of this stuff. Like, I don't know about you, but I think we're overdoing this thing. But guess what? The commissioner spoke up on it, and that's not going to be good. This probably will pass at some point.
Yeah, that element of it, I've always agreed where the division champion should get in football, the division still matters. I mein, in basketball, people don't know who's in the Atlantic, who's in the Central.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. In football, those key rivalries do matter. And, you don't play the same schedule. So you being 7-10 and him being 10-7 is kind of irrelevant because your schedule might be way different than the team that won. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree that if you win the division, that should be a goal that you set out, and it should get you that home game.
Yeah, in fact, I know there's some owners will never agree to a restructure of the proposal now because you just said it. If you win the division, that means something. No matter what your record is, you still achieve something. So the other thing is, now there's another thought around the league, is that maybe what happens is, okay, you keep it the same, but then you reseed. Okay, then you reseed the teams in the second round, what's called the divisional round. The wild card round is the first round, then divisional round, then the championship round. Maybe you reseed them if a seventh round, if a seventh seed who is 14-3, and let's say, well, there's no way this is going to happen. There's no way a team 8-9 is going to get a bye. That's not going to happen. But let's say that team won the first week, and because they won the division, they would host that team that is 14-3 in the second round. Maybe that's when you receive them. You know what? Let's go with the team that's clearly better, the 14-3 team. That I'd be way in charge of, and way pushing. But we'll see. This is going to, in the May meeting, by the way. The owners' meetings are, just so people know, in March. Always late March. Then in mid to late May. I've been to that one. It's usually very boring. Nothing usually gets done. And then they have one in late December. This has nothing to do with the regular season. It's usually other business. And then March again. So if it gets tabled again, nothing will happen until next March.
All right, let's take a look at some of the things that did happen. The rule changes, the overtime rule here. This was a proposal by the Eagles here that they wanted to make this more aligned with what happens in the postseason.
Yeah, and Mike, this is the problem that I have with the NFL. It's not having a designated hitter and not having one in one other league. That's a little bit drastic, but I don't like that. You have different rules for different times. It should be the same and it's uniform. So now the proposal that the Eagles proposed, they were the first ones to propose it, but they had support in it. This one passed where the regular season overtime rules will be the same as the postseason in terms of both teams will get the ball. This is what happened. You might remember the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, great game some years ago, and what happened is because one of the teams scored first, the other team didn't get it, and we wanted to see. I can't remember who it was, whether it was Josh Allen getting the ball or Mahomes. They didn't get the ball second to see if they could tie in that. The league, that got a lot of outrage on Twitter. For people who aren't even fans of either team, you love great football. The league, I'll say this much about I like Roger. I have nothing against him. I have my issues when I criticize him. Rogers also is big on what the fans want. He knows he's on social media, believe it or not. He sees this. He's aware of it. Owners are aware of it. You got to have things uniform. So it's going to be the same in terms of both teams will get the ball in overtime in the regular season.
All right, that was the Eagles who put that one out there. That's one of the rule change. The kickoff, I mean, the touchback and the dynamic kickoff. I'm really interested. We talked a lot about this last week because last year they tried it at the 30, and teams said that doesn't deter us from touchback. So now they're going to move it to the 35. Will that deter teams from the touchback?
Well, it's interesting. So I talked to a veteran special teams coach who told me at the Combine that this was going to pass. He said that on what you said, this will help more returns potentially. And the thing is, Mike, they just don't want the touchbacks. These kickers are too strong. They're just way too strong. And they know that, listen, the good thing is, look, if you're going to have bigger plays, so this plays into the second point here. So the dynamic kickoff, which was very odd, it looked different. It's from the UFL and USFL. Not only is that going to increase, I got to give the NFL credit. They said there would be a huge increase in kickoff returns. Well, there were 332 more kickoff returns last season than they were in 2023. And that's up. The rate went from 21.8 to 32.8. That's a big jump. They do think, Mike, that at some point over 50% of kicks will happen. I don't know when that's going to happen. They claim that. I've been at the media meeting with the special teams coaches, and this is a big one, Mike. 59 plays of 40 yards or more happened last season, Mike. You know why? Because don't forget, the kickoff team cannot get the running start anymore. Not only does it reduce concussions, they can't get that running start anymore. Though they're closer, by the way, the dynamic kickoff, they still cannot get the running start. It's got to reach the landing zone, which is what they call it. That's the most returns of 40 yards or more since 2016.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see if teams, just say, yeah, you know what, we'll give you the ball at the 35. We don't care. Because last year it didn't seem like I thought when you put the ball at the 30-yard line, teams would be like, that's 30 yards. But 35, I thought maybe if you put it at the 40, that might deter teams. But we'll see. We'll see if the touchbacks go down. I guess they're hoping for that. You mentioned Bill Belichick wants to replay everything, but we will see more replay.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike, listen, I'm a big replay opponent, but I don't want it to delay. So, this replay assist that came in over the last couple of years, particularly in the playoffs, well, not only is it going to stay, this will not go away because it's been almost seamless. They're now going to include calls that are considered objective. Let's say, with a face mask, it's usually pretty obvious. Forcible head contact with the neck area or head, horse collar tackles. So what happened is you can only overrule it if they made a mistake. Let's say, because what the hardest one to do is horse collar. Remember, it's real time. Sometimes they grab the jersey. They don't grab inside the jersey into the shoulder pad. Sometimes they're just flat out wrong. They're going to correct that mistake. So that's implemented. I love replay assist. I don't know who came up with it. Next time I see Troy Vincent or John Runyon, I'm going to ask. Buy that guy a beer. That's a great idea, replay assist.
Yes, there's a lot of egregious, misses sometimes. You're like, how do they not see that? Well, now they will see that there. All right. I bought a ticket for a Thursday, for a game on a Sunday, and it got moved to Thursday. It looks like that could be a problem for some fans.
Yeah, so what's going to happen but it's going to be better, though. So Thursday Night Football on Amazon, which I love, on Amazon Prime. The deadline for flexing It's going to go from 4 weeks to 3 weeks. So that goes on your point. That gives you shorter time to plan and cancel your trip and everything. But they're doing this because they think this will improve the quality of play in those games. So we'll see if they're convinced that this is going to work. And I got to tell you, Amazon Prime, I mentioned this on our show Monday, Mike, and I want to mention to your listeners here on 973 South Jersey. I wish the networks would take what Amazon does with Amazon Prime in terms of the all 22 views. I don't know if you ever see that on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
I don't understand. It's absolutely worth paying for. I don't know why the leagues, the networks won't invest in it. It's such better viewing. You get to see the whole field with all 22. I'm a huge fan of it. I love putting it on my laptop. See, sometimes I watch on my laptop or sometimes I watch on my phone. But I love watching Amazon Prime on my laptop for those all 22 views. I wish they would do this. It probably will never happen in our lifetime, but I guess we're just stuck with Amazon doing it.
Well, Amazon Prime now, you can get Flex on a shorter window. It used to be 28 days. Now it's 21 days as Amazon and the streamers gain more and more power in the NFL. You got 2 Netflix games on Christmas Day, 1 Amazon game on Christmas Day. You're not getting the chain gang anymore. It looks like the technology is up to par now. They're ready to go, and the chain gang, no more.
Oh, by the way, Mike, just one thing to add. It's now 3 Christmas games and not 2 anymore, which is crazy.
Yeah, 2 Netflix, 1 Amazon.
Right. I cannot believe that. Whether the NBA, I heard you and Josh talking about it. Yeah, it's crazy that happened. But no more chain gang, thank God. I got to tell you, this has been in my crawl. I've covered this business now 27 years. The richest sports league by far in our country. How in the world do they not get this done earlier? How could you? And no offense to the chain gang, a lot of those guys are older. So now they're going to use Sony's Hawkeye. It's all going to be video. They're not going to get it wrong anymore. Do you remember when Gene Steratore took the
index card,
which was a joke? You can't. By the way, he's really good on television on CBS, but we're not going to have to deal with that crap anymore. I cannot tell you. I was like, why didn't this pass decades ago? This is embarrassing for the league to wait this long, but thank goodness they did it. Now, the chain gang will be there as a backup if the video didn't work, but I can't imagine that they're going to – Sony's doing this with their technology, so I'm assuming it's going to work.
All right. What is going on with the free agent period that the Steelers passed?
This is phenomenal, Mike. Now, I got to tell you, I'm curious to see – the Steelers proposed it. Andy Weidel, the assistant general manager, used to work for the Eagles, and Omar Khan are chief among this. So basically what it is you know how, like, on the legal tampering period, which everybody seems to call it, the league doesn't call it that, those 48 hours, Mike, on Monday and Tuesday when it starts on Wednesday?
Yep.
Well, only the agent can talk to the clubs now. Clubs now can have one video or phone call. The video, obviously, won't be Skype anymore. It'll be Zoom or Teams. Skype is going away next month, or Microsoft Teams, but with up to 5 potential unrestricted free agents. So they actually could talk to the players directly, Mike, in the legal negotiating period, not even when free agency starts, officially when the doors open, Mike. And obviously they could agree to terms, and they could book travel once they've agreed to terms, before you'd have to sign the contract to travel. This is great, Mike. I'll tell you why. If you've got a Mike Tomlin who's very convincing, if you've got a Nick Sirianni who's very convincing, that matters to me. That absolutely matters to me. If him and Howie could, and Howie's the king of free agency, if they could tag team together, why not? And by the way, I'll check on this. I don't believe there's any language that owners can't get involved. So what if Jeffrey Lurie got involved?
Yeah,
think about it. I hadn't thought of that until you just brought this up. I don't know. Some owner, look. What if Jerry Jones got involved? He's crazy. You never know what he's going to say. I think this is pretty good, Mike. I got to give the league credit. When I first covered the league with Mosher, early 2000s, they were so backwards and not forward thinking. And I got to tell you, Howie's part of this. The forward thinking stuff. He is, and the Eagles. They propose a lot of rules. Most of them don't get passed, but there's no more forward-thinking franchise than the Eagles, and I got to give them credit for all the work that they've done over the years.
Last one, we could see more Kelly Green this year.
Yeah, and Mike, I know the league used to have a certain amount of years you had to ask to wear these uniforms, the alternate or throwbacks, but now it was 3 last year, Mike. It's now going to be 4 alternates per season, and I love like the Panthers. I don't know if you've seen the Panthers uniforms. I love their colors, the black and blue. But the Eagles, obviously, the Kelly green, and maybe we'll see the black, which I love. Whatever. But I think that's great. So, but we actually covered some more stuff today than we did on our Monday show. So I'm glad we were able to do this. But kudos to the league for being more forward-thinking, because I've been long criticizing we're too old-fashioned, and they're certainly willing to do more. I like that.
All right, Adam Caplan, there you go. Some updated rule changes that will be happening. By the way, Eagles will be out on the field April 21st, and the draft April 24th. We'll have more on Football at 4. Thanks, Adam.
Hey, by the way, Mike, for decades, you could not have a OTA practice before the draft, and that's actually new in the last 10 years. And you know why? Because if the club could see if a guy shows out of shape, that does matter sometimes, believe it or not. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen. But no, it used to be after the draft. Now you could have some practice before the draft.
April 21st, they'll be back. All right, we'll talk to you, pal.
Thanks.
All right, there's Adam Caplan, everybody here. Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast.